Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So if you could share with us about your history, if you can go back in time and tell us about what happened prior to seeing me and when you started seeing me, and we'll go from there.
I'm trying to remember. I think I had just moved. It might have been 2020, 2021.
Mm-hmm. Right, a few years ago.
I just moved to a new city, and I had a new job and just a lot of different changes. So I was just kind of broke. I feel like was getting a lot of anxiety with everything. And then so I started seeing you, and then I got prescribed the anxiety medication to help me, which helped me rewire the chemistry in my brain, which is the Lexapro, which really helped kind of reset everything. Because before that, I just felt like it was almost like living in dread. It was hard to explain, like, if you know, like, having anxiety.
How old were you?
Like, everything is overwhelming.
How old were you, do you think, when you started to feel that?
How what?
How old were you when you first...
I think it hit me about 25, I think is when it hit me.
Okay. And you didn't, and I think that you were also going through some pretty stressful times at the time, like you said, with your situation.
Yeah, and then I had taking care of my grandpa, he ended up passing away in 2023, but I took care of him during that time too, and just, that was just a lot on my plate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Going through that. It's just a different way of living and having to care for someone else and just kind of putting them above you and not taking care of your own health in a way. So that's why I had reached out.
And now you're having a similar situation.
Yes. Now I'm taking care of my grandmother, which she's a lot more mobile than my grandpa ever was, but it's still a lot.
And you're working otherwise, right? Are you working also?
And I'm still working, yeah. And I'm still working for myself now.
Right. Have you stayed on Lexapro the whole time, or is there times that you stopped it?
Yeah, there was times that I had stopped it, or I had lowered it for a long time, like you had said. So once it had, like, rewired and I felt like it was more stable, I had gone down to the half dose that I was on, so half of that, and then tapered a little bit to be off of it. And then now I'm going to be back on the lowest dose.
Now, what led to the thought of going off of it?
It seemed like everything kind of had got stable in my life for a minute, and it seemed like I just wanted to see how I would feel off of it, if it had actually fixed, like, how my brain was, which ultimately I think it did fix it, because I didn't have where every day was seeming like it was going to end, like the world was going to end every day, like a feeling of just dread.
Right.
So I definitely think it did do something. It did something where it rewired it, so I don't have to take as much. But I was on it more than a year on the full dose.
Yeah, I did.
A couple years. And
the feeling of dread, and I think with anxiety too, people are always like, well, what is it? Yeah, I have stress. I've got a lot on my plate. But some people they just can't figure it out, and they just I don't know why. I mean, things are actually not that bad, and so I think people try to always figure out anxiety, and they can't figure it out, and it's frustrating. And I think that, or the other is that, well, things are better in my life now, so now I think I can go off of the Lexapro. That happens a lot too. But when you realize that, and some people can do that. I mean, it's not like everyone has to take everything long term. But when you realize that, you feel better on it, why not keep taking it? Share with us, if you can, about do you see an increase premenstrually, like before your period starts?
Yes, I definitely see that. That's when I can probably up the dose of Lexapro, because I know I had done that in the past. Definitely, if I don't feel, I feel like my life's more stable now, but during that premenstrual week is when you got to be on top of it, I feel like.
Right.
Because that's when everything kind of turns upside down. You think everything's going smooth, and then you hit like the speed bump, and then it definitely does ground you to have the Lexapro, and just at least for that week.
How many days of the week is that? How many days a month is that on average?
Let's see. I'd say at least maybe 5 to 7.
Okay. That's about pretty rough average. Didn't you tell me your gynecologist told you that it would take a lot longer for the Lexapro to kick in? Or no?
Yes. Well, I was telling you that I had thought before that, I think a lot of people think this too, is that it takes a lot longer, and other doctors do say this to you, that it takes longer for it to kick in, but I know I talked to you and said that it works right away, which we found that it does actually cause it helps relieve the anxiety right away. It's
Right.
not like you have to do it for so many days. You can take it the week before.
This has been a myth in this field. I write about it in my books. This has been a myth in this field. I don't know where it started or who, but so many doctors still buy into it. And they feel like it takes 4 to 6 to 8 weeks for it to work. And it's complete nonsense. Maybe with Lexapro, maybe like Prestique and Effexor maybe a little bit quicker than Lexapro, maybe 2, 3, 4 days to kick in. Lexapro sometimes takes a half a week to a week to kick in, maybe up to 1 to 2 weeks at the very most. But usually it's quicker than 2 weeks, and most doctors really don't understand it because the books say, the books tell them that, and they go by that, and they don't really. All you need to do is listen to patients and say, well, when I started giving to you, when did you start feeling better? And since I've been doing it for over 30 years, and I hear it, I hear the answers so often that that worked right within the first few days or 4 days or whatever.
3 days.
Right, right. And again, it's just so misunderstood by doctors, including gynecologists, who don't understand how to treat, even something that they shouldn't understand, which is PMS, or what we call actually PMDD is the more proper term of PMS, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. But what's happening is, Lexapro in you is just balancing the chemical serotonin in your nervous system. And what's going on at the end of your menstrual cycle is that your estrogen level starts to drop down. And that what happens when that estrogen does that is the serotonin goes more out of balance than other days. And that's why when increasing the dose, it kicks in, and it kicks in right away the day you do it. And you just have to kind of keep on top of it. Some women say, I'm not really following it that closely, but you kind of have to just have that feeling like, okay, yeah, I guess my period's probably like a week or so away, and I guess I'm starting to feel that today. You have to kind of know to do it, and just kind of do it when you feel it. And even if you take a little bit much, it's not going to hurt you. It's better to just chance it, and feel better rather than have a bad day when you don't really need to have a bad day. Yeah, and then some women will go back down the dose afterwards for the next few weeks or so, and then go back up. And some women will just say, I just go up to the double dose, and I just stay there all month, so I don't have to think about it. And so that's sometimes done too. But yeah, I don't want people to take too big of a dose, then get side effects and without benefit. So. But this is, I wanted to bring you on because this is a really good lesson for people to learn about. And with you, it's a very simple one medication is all you need. And so it's a very simple outcome with you. And it's going to be, as far as how long to take it, it's hard to say. We don't know the answer to that question. The only way we really know is to actually have you stop it and see what happens. And some people will do that here and there, especially when times are better and stressors are down, and to see if, and sometimes some people have success with that, and some people go off of it and thinking, well, I thought things were better. How come I have to keep taking this stuff? Well, I try to look at the positive. Hey, it's one simple pill a day. People take supplements and they take all this other stuff and don't think twice about it. So what? You're taking one pill. It's not going to hurt you. It's not addictive. It's not, what's the big deal? And why not just feel better rather than not? And And sometimes the body will tell you when to go off it. So sometimes when people take it for a while and then all of a sudden they feel like, I don't like how I'm feeling on it now. Okay, so then they stop it and then they feel better off it. That can happen. Sometimes the body retrains and that happens, but it's just one of those things that we just don't know yet how long, And it probably has something to do with genetics with you. I'm assuming your mom or your dad, I'm not looking back in your history right now, but mom or dad had some issues with maybe anxiety.
Yeah, and goes further back than that.
Right.
It's like all the women from
right,
a couple
right.
generations.
Yeah, so it can run down the female line, and that's why the two biggest reasons for these chemical imbalances are genetics and hormones, and that's why you have both, and so you're the setup for it. But as long as you keep on top of it, and that even when stressful things happen in your life, like you have now, you're still now a little bit more able to handle it and deal with it better. So
definitely.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add, or we're good to go?
No, I think that's good. I just agree that I think that you can take the full dose and then maybe go off and then do the lower dose and then still not have any panic attacks or anxiety attacks. It definitely does rewire your brain, like you said.
Yes, it does. And some women actually they're fine for 3 weeks or so, and they only take it those days. I have some patients, they take it like 7 days out of the month or 5 days out of the month, and that's all they take, and that's fine. And so and in that case, it's probably more of just a hormonal issue. But these are possibly people who don't have as strong of a genetic component, and they just have the hormonal component. But then again, the problem is if you see that premenstrual, it's going to also happen after childbirth. Most likely, it's going to happen in menopause. It's going to happen. So if it's happening hormonally, women are a setup for that, because women have hormonal events happening more than we guys do. So you guys get the brunt of it. Yeah, well, we don't want to trade places. We like it as is. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
All righty, bye. So with her case, relative to other cases that are a little bit more complex that I talk about, hers is pretty easy. Started in mid-20s with anxiety and didn't really have it earlier in life. So that's why I think it's simpler with her to treat, because she doesn't have as much of a history. But she has the genetics on her mom and grandmother and the women's side of the family. But with her, it's just a simple serotonin issue. So again, we talk about SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So it's inhibiting the reuptake of serotonin. So it's telling you exactly what it's doing. Because in her case, what was happening is serotonin was going the wrong way, and everything else was going the right way, and that was going the wrong way. Because what happens is a leak develops on this cell. This leak happens here, and the leak happens because of the hormonal changes and the genetics. And then an SSRI comes along and just attaches there, and it forces that chemical to move the right way. So it's everything now all four. And again, it's simple, because I have more luck usually with things like Prestige, Effects, or Cymbalta, because they work on norepinephrine. But in her case, she didn't need that. Lexapro alone is all it takes with her. And what happens is that during that premenstrual, we call it premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is otherwise known as PMS, which is premenstrual syndrome, is this during that, when the hormones starts to drop down, the estrogen drops down, this kind of opens back up again a little bit. So it's kind of working still, but then it's kind of not working, and so it's kind of it gets a little bit leaky. So when we beef up the dose, it just tightens that up and gets everything that way again. And then, like I said, it's sometimes you can go down on the dose for the other 3 weeks, and then go up for a week, go back down, or so kind of have to. We figure that out as we do it, as we listen to our patients, and it doesn't take long to figure it out. It takes a cycle or two to know. And then some women really chart their cycles so they know what's going on, and some women just go by the feeling of knowing that I can feel it's coming on, it's going to be a bad day today, and then they act, and the other thing is, like, the doctor told her that doesn't work that way. It takes a long time to work. It's not true. And when you do it during those premenstrual days, when you change the dose, or if you start it from scratch, it works one day. Within an hour, typically, it works. So that's where very misunderstood by doctors who don't understand that simple, very basics. But because they think the opposite. They think, oh, it's not going to work that quickly. Well, it does. They just don't know it does. So, anyways, but hers is a really good case because this one simple thing to give her life is much improved. She's not having to deal with anxiety, which is miserable, and it's not a fun thing to have. And so it's another good result.